And welcome to Debate 4-on-1. Many thanks for joining us from wherever part of the world you're watching us. For those who are outside of Rwanda or would just like to watch us online, all you need to do is just log on to www.rba.co.rw and you should be able to join us right here. All you need to do to join the conversation on today's motion or topic is simply use the hashtag Debate411. You can tweet me directly at Eugene Anangwe, or you can tweet at Debate411. And of course, my name as always is Eugene Anangwe. Today on the program, we're talking about the issue of sports, and they say that too much work without play makes Jack a dull boy. And so today we're looking at the issue of sports, and the question that we're looking at is, are sports journalists doing enough to definitely promote local sports in Rwanda? Do we even have a lucrative sporting sector to report home about? These are some of the key questions we'll be asking ourselves right here in the program. My panelist right here on the show is none other than Ariane. We see you a lot on Rwanda TV Sports. Welcome to Debate 4-on-1.
Thank you.
Are you missing Theo here today?
Because I'm with you. I feel all right.
All is fine.
Yeah,
Anango will handle everything.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Also joining us from the Ministry of Sports is none other than Mr. Bujingo, the Director of Sports at Mini Sport. Welcome to Debate 4-on-1, sir.
Thank you very much.
And on my immediate left or right? Left is none other than Arnold Kwizera. He's a blogger and, of course, also a sports journalist. Arnold, welcome to Debate 4-on-1.
Thank you, Eugene.
And we'll start right from you, because you had posted a blog or an article concerning this particular issue we're talking about today. And in your post, you're asking if sports journalists were doing enough to promote local sports. And you felt that we have more sports journalists focusing more on international games and at the expense of local sports. Is this the same feeling you have today as you sit here on Debate 4-on-1?
Yes, Anangwe, I maintain my position as I put it down on that blog that I feel sports journalists, we are more than 100 sports journalists in Rwanda. Yeah? I feel like we don't give enough to sports journalism in Rwanda, because the focus is on a few sports disciplines. Now, we have a lot of registered disciplines. When you look at the Rwanda National Olympic Committee, when you look at the team we sent out to Congo, Brazzaville for the All-Africa Games, you know, we have athletics, we have taekwondo, we have a lot of successful disciplines, but what are they talking about? You find colleagues have a 3-hour radio show, and in the 3 hours, it's going to spend 2 hours talking about third-hand information. And I call it third-hand information because this is information they pick from websites. They're going to spend time talking about Manchester United, Arsenal, and all these other disciplines. And they're going to spend less time talking about, the other sports disciplines. And if they talk about local Rwandan sports, it's football, cycling lately, a little bit of results of volleyball and basketball, and it's a wrap. And do we know that the cricket league is going on? It's the most organized sport in the country. Do we know that taekwondo gets 1.3 trophies, that's in a ratio, per month, from international competitions?
And you feel they are missing out on that? They're not really focusing on that?
They're not doing their job.
And it's really bothering you?
A lot.
And by they, you included?
Yes, me, one of them.
You one of them.
Yes.
Ariane, do you believe in what he's saying here?
I'm not thinking that I will be on the part of Arnold. Because, for example, for our show,
yes,
I will start by our show, RTV Sports.
Yes.
It's like 1 hour. But for international news, we put like 10 minutes at the end. But other 50 minutes, we focus on...
dedicated on local sports.
Local sports. For Arnold, it's a point of information. He can't not ignore that football, mostly in all over the world, football is the game. In French, they say it's very well, that stands for roi. It means it's like... the most popular, known by everyone, but we can't ignore that We have also taekwondo, rugby in Rwanda, cricket, we say it. But in football, for the federation, they communicate with journalists.
And that makes it easy for you to report about
it's
football.
Easy for them.
One, because
and
people like
others,
it.
Yes.
Two, because you get information easily.
Yes.
Let me bring in the good director of sports at the Ministry of Culture here. Listening to these two here,
Yes.
as a referee, if you would be that, what would you say about his arguments that indeed local sports journalists are paying more attention to international sports at the expense of local sports? And if they spend time on local sports, it's mostly about football.
Yeah, sure. I agree partly with him. They spend much time on international sports. When they report on a few disciplines, as they mentioned, football, volleyball, basketball,
Yes.
sometimes handball. And when they report on those sports, it is because those sports are somehow organized and they provide some information to them. And when they receive that information, they can spread it.
I disagree.
Yes.
So I said partially. For me, I would add the quality. For us at the ministry, would like to go to the quality. If we can develop that later.
Yes.
But not only they not report enough on all sports disciplines,
Yes.
but also sometimes the quality
Of reporting is also compromised.
Yes.
But let's talk about what Ariane raised here on this show right now, that we seem to focus more on soccer because we easily get the information. Why would that situation even be allowed from the Ministry of Sports, for example?
Yeah, for us, as the ministry, we consider all sport disciplines at the same level. We would like all of them to be reported on at equally. And especially, we know that media is there to inform
Yes.
the general public and to provide enough information. So when they don't search for information and inform the public on rugby, on cricket, as he mentioned, taekwondo, tennis, we have many, around 25 sporting federations, archery, kung fu. We have many of them. But the reporting focuses only on some of them.
And why I would push you again on that particular question is that the actual bullet point of that question is, why would you as a ministry allow only the soccer department or institutions be the ones easily giving information and the others don't? Are you not monitoring that? That at least access to information in all disciplines is made available for these sports journalists?
Yes, we do. In our policy.
So she's lying.
I'm not.
I don't say that she's lying.
Yes.
But as the ministry, we have a policy. The policy requires all federations to provide information to journalists. Some federations failed to avoid the information. And the journalists don't search for information. So, you know, when there is no information availed, on the other part, journalists don't make an effort to search for that information. But for us, at the ministry level, we would like all sporting disciplines to be reported on equally. Yes.
Yes. You wanted to disagree, and he says sports journalists don't make an effort.
Yeah,
Let me pick from that part.
I have about 4 points from what my colleague has said and the director of sports has said. Some I agree with him. Now, one, we need to first define the role of a journalist.
Yes.
What's the role of a journalist? To be an outlet for information.
Yes.
You have to look for this information. So that intertwines with what she said, providing information easily. Isn't that mediocrity? Isn't that being lazy that you will go for who provides information easily?
So for journalists who sit and wait for people or institutions that offer information easily, you find that as mediocre?
Yes, I will say it's mediocre because if a federation doesn't provide you information, does that mean there is no activity taking place? Yeah, because you're going to have moments where the media officers are not available. Case in point, the Zone 5 basketball championships taking place. The media officer is never there. Yeah, but then as a journalist, I have to go and watch his sporting disciplines and come back and report on them. That takes me to what we talked about, what the director said, partially organized. Cricket, I'll use it as an example, is the most organized sport in this country. Yeah? The Cricket Federation will send all sports journalists an email, which you receive, you're copied to, every day about different cricket activities in the country. How many are going to report about it?
So why do you think they don't?
It's because they don't take time to even want to understand the sport. That goes back to getting information easily, what they understand, and what she talked about, being able to, that's the sport they understand is what they're going to talk about. But is that fair to all sporting disciplines? How are all these sporting disciplines going to be able to pick up sponsors? Yeah, how is the sport going to be lucrative? If they're not talking about it, if no one is talking about all these things,
no one will pay interest.
No one's going to pay interest.
Let me jump back to Ariane, because Ariane Arnold is making very grave accusations against you and people of like-mindedness like you, that you are sort of mediocre if you just sit and say we will report on sporting activities where the officials easily give us information, and those that don't give us information, let them stay on their side. Because
no, for the point of information,
yes,
like he's saying, for cricket, me, I never seen any email of Cricket Federation. But for others, I'm going to give you an example. For volleyball, football, handball, and in this time, taekwondo also. They have created a group, WhatsApp group, so that they can inform people if they have an event or championship is going to start, or we have a press conference, everything. We know about it. And if you know about it, don't forget that also we need some means. Because some radios and TVs, they don't have, every time when we tell them you come and you cover something, they are not available. And for some federations also, you can't find. For example, for tennis or cricket, where is the head of that federation is. But for others, if you are going to Mahoro Stadium, maybe you can
find them there easily.
NPC, volleyball, basketball, and for those WhatsApp group shows that it is easily
you
to
easily get in touch with them.
Something, and for those like cricket and rugby, if they have a competition, some competition, they let you know. But for the championship, you don't know. For the other side, I really understand Arnold. Because for cricket, maybe Arnold knows everything about cricket, and they don't give some trainings for sports journalists to teach them maybe the game. If it is cricket, they don't know maybe how we win, how you don't
how it's played, so that you easily are able to report about it.
And if you don't know about everything, you cannot
give proper information. Before we come back to the good director here, Arnold, what do you think about those key points that she raises, especially on training? Why we don't report about certain sporting activities is because we don't have the know-how.
I think, again, I will disagree with her completely. Because just 2 weeks back, the Cricket Association held a training for journalists, and they hold at a rate of 4 trainings. I personally have never attended a cricket sports federation training. So I won't say I was at the training. But they've held these trainings. I have colleagues from other radio stations, more than 30 sports journalists who go for these trainings. But even when they go for these trainings, at the end of the day, they still won't report about the sport. So I still maintain my position that what we are having is a situation of laziness. We are going for the easy bread. And there are so many factors that lead to this. One of those, let's look at the great story of cycling right now. In Rwanda, cycling is the most successful sport if they will say so. But cycling has a storyline that's 8 years back. And when Mr. Bayingana noticed, the head of the Cycling Federation, the president, when he noticed that I need to have the journalists, cycling is now getting tunes of sponsorship because journalists keep talking about cycling, day in, day out. But in case we have a situation at cycling that doesn't go wrong, that goes wrong, will journalists be objective enough to talk about this?
We'll be looking at that in the next break. But of course, your point that you're maintaining here is most of these journalists, even if training is offered, they will still not come back to report about those issues that they've been trained on. True. Which brings me to the director here of sports at Ministry of Sports and Culture. What do you do then in such situations? You either spend some money, taxpayers' money, for instance, if it is not someone else's money, to train these journalists on these issues, and then they do not put an effort in reporting on those issues. What is possible? What can you do as an office?
Yeah, thank you. What we do and what we used to do is to organize trainings in partnership with the Rwanda National Olympic Committee in different sport management areas, including the building a capacity of journalists.
Yes.
To acquire the knowledge on different sport disciplines, so that they would be able to report on them. I know last year with through the Association of Sport Journalists, chaired by Butoi, who is here, we organized the training.
Yes.
Some of them attended, others didn't.
And those who attended and do not report properly, do you do an assessment? And what is possible to be done for those who don't? As Arnold said, they are trained, but they never put it into use. What do we do about that? So
that's a challenge. As the ministry, we are not specialists in media. What is interesting for us is to provide quality information to the public, and we encourage all federations to have a communication plan, to organize regularly press conferences to inform those journalists. I don't want to blame only journalists, but also federations should make an effort to avoid the information
to the journalists.
We'll
be coming back to look at the other people to bring in this conversation after the break. Just hold on those particular thoughts, and of course we'll move the conversation forward when we come back after the break, right? Thank you so much for being with us. I can see your tweets coming through. I have Wen Olivier who says, why do we have to have one show of sport? They can go for specialized, and I think there's also John Mugabe who says, Arnold is extremely much right. Local journalists have never, had enthusiasm for home pitch. We'll be looking at more of those comments and, of course, read them, some of them right here on the program. And I'll be passing on the microphone to my panelists right here to give a few words or two on those comments that you're sending. Keep tweeting at Debate411. Use the hashtag Debate411. I'll see you after the short break. Do stay with us.
So Natasha, are we cornering our teachers? Are we being unfair to them?
At the end of the day, Fiona also mentions that the more you show them this condom, the more you're opening up their minds to having sex. But do you feel well represented? Do you think the media issues are well taken to the table when it comes to advocacy? How do we convince them and say that we shut it down because you exceeded the limits? The word conservation looks just complicated, but how do we simplify this?
What role do our schools play then? And the people around our children, what role can they play in order to avoid these children becoming a menace in the society?
Yes. Caroline, you just want to sound moral, but you're just not accepting the reality on the ground.
Well, I want to sound moral and encourage it and practice it.
This is an EA production.
And welcome back. Thank you so much for being with us. In case you're joining us, this is Debate 411. My name, as always, is Eugene Anangwe. Today we're talking about sports in Rwanda and the role of local sports journalists in developing local sports. Is it even their role to do that? Do they have anything to gain when they do that? Of course, these are some of the questions we're asking ourselves right here on the program. I have Arnold Kwizera, who's here with us, and of course, the Director of Sports at the Ministry of Culture is here with us, Bwana Bujingo, and of course, Ariane, who's a sports journalist right here on RBA. Welcome back to the break. Now, before we went for the break, we were looking at issues of capacity, issues of whether indeed they are doing what they're supposed to do. But Arnold brought a point earlier on when we were here, and he said that some of these sporting activities or federations might not get sponsorship if sports journalists don't report too much about these issues, don't expose a lot about these sporting activities. Which brings me to the question, is it the sports journalist's role to do this, to facilitate or to report so that they get sponsorship? Let me start with you there.
Me, I don't think so, because I think, for me, my job is to report or to inform people who really like some sports, to know information if the championship is starting. But for sponsorship, I'm not the one who is supposed to go and look for information in the federation so that the federation is known by everyone and is getting sponsorship.
Yes.
Because me also, I'm getting nothing. In that case, I'm not getting anything.
Yes. So it's not your job to help
it's
them
not
get
my
sponsorship.
Job. My job is to let Rwandans know about that sports only.
And that's it. What did you mean by that? Is that what you really meant?
No,
that if we do not speak about these sporting activities, we risk making them not able to get sponsorship?
What I meant, or what I said, was if you were an advertiser, let's say Debate 411 wants to advertise somewhere, and you are going to use a particular sports discipline to let people know, or a communal event to let people know about, your product. You're not going to go and use a sport that no one watches or sees. Yeah, and it's a two-way relationship. That's a relationship of the federation to make sure their sporting activity is known, but it's also a job for the journalists to make sure that they talk about these sporting disciplines. Yeah, and we have clear-cut examples. I use taekwondo as an example. The Taekwondo Federation is out of the country almost every month. They're either hosting a tournament here or they're out of Rwanda participating in an international event, whereby they're winning a lot of trophies. But no one talks about the Taekwondo Federation, and they still have to depend on personal dividends. So the journalists are not doing their jobs to talk about this federation. So no one will sponsor a federation that no one's talking about. Yeah, look at cycling. Cycling started getting sponsorship because journalists were talking about it, because journalists got involved in it. Yeah, you find...
Is that the true situation? Is that why they got these sponsorships?
I agree that the media play a big role in making an activity known and getting sponsorship. But it is not only the role of journalists, because federations need to develop a marketing strategy to approach, to go and discuss face-to-face MDs of companies, corporate companies, and the firms, so that they can show how the benefit. It's a win-win situation, actually. I agree. The
win-win, but she says she's not winning anything. She's not getting anything. It's them who will get the
win-win situation
She's doing her job.
between a sponsor and the federation. When there is a activity on the stadium, it's full of 25,000 people. When there is a sponsorship and promotional materials for sponsors, they assure their visibility around towards those 25,000 people around the stadium. When there is a TV, people can watch, even outside the stadium, can watch and enjoy from the television. That's the role of the media. Journalists, when they report, they mention the numbers of people in the stadium. The media plays a role, but it is not enough. There is also a big job to be done by the federations or organizers of the events to get sponsorship.
But still, after all this is said and done, whenever there's a Champions League, European games, and this Arsenals and Manchesters and Chelseas, we see a lot of interest from locals as compared to when it is local football or local games. Why is this the case? Ariane, for example.
I think for Rwanda, it's because they are part of media, getting something known and marketing, as we said. They are stronger than us. For example, in the federation, in Rwandan federation, the part of marketing is like a part, it's not working well. Because, for example, in English Premier League, everything you see, for English, for Champions League, everything you can see and watch and get all information.
So they've packaged it well that
Yes,
it just
package
entices
it
you
well,
from wherever
everything.
you are.
Yeah, it's better. But for Rwandan, it's very, very different. Reason why you are going to see some people are watching, few people are watching a local game, even if it is soccer, and others, the big part is going to watch maybe Arsenal and maybe Arsenal, Manchester United. But for Rwanda, don't forget also that they choose. If APR is going to play against Rayon Sports, they are going to watch because some of them are known that they are going to gain something. For example, for Rayon Sports, if it is hosting, they will get something because people will come, many people will come to watch the game. But if Amagaju is going to play against Etincelle, no one is going there. Even if Arnold is, he knows also that he is also lying. If you take Arnold and you make him to choose.
Yes.
A match of APR and Rayon Sports, another match, another match for Etincelle and Amagaju. He's going to tell you, Amagaju and Etincelle. No.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going there. Even also in football, Arnold is coming to watch a match of football in halftime. How will he going to report that match very well, and in case of coming in halftime?
Okay, Arnold, the accusations have been laid fair and square that you're lying. That's number one.
Yeah.
If you were going to, which team was that? Amagaju
against Etincelle.
And Etincelle.
And Rayon Sports
Rayon
against
versus
APR.
Which one would you go to cover? No, honestly speaking, without being diplomatic.
If it's Amagaju versus Etincelle,
yes.
Rayon Sports versus APR, same time?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm going to watch Rayon Sports versus APR. But I'm a big fan of rugby.
Yes.
It's my number one sport.
Yes.
Yeah? The Rugby World Cup is taking place right now.
Yes.
On Saturday, the team I support, Springboks, were playing. That same day, the Zone 5 basketball championships were here in Kigali. Yeah? And we're having matches that didn't even involve a Rwandan team. Yeah? The match involved KPA,
yes.
Kenya Ports Authority from Kenya,
yes.
and Gezira from Egypt. I went for the Gezira match. I didn't go to watch a rugby match. Why? Something we get so wrong
Yes.
as sports journalists is, to me, again, is we can never compete with the likes of Sky Sports, CNN, because those people, the information they're giving us are their local leagues. Yeah? So when Kwizera Arnold comes late at a halftime of a football match.
Is it true, by the way, that you do that?
I'm from watching a volleyball match.
Oh, so it's...
I wake, on average, if people are going to follow my Twitter feed, and I don't want to make this about me, on Saturday, from my Twitter feed, at 8 a.m., I will be at the cricket oval, because there are cricket games at 8 a.m. Did you even know that the inter-schools finals were last week of cricket? There are cricket games at 8 a.m. I will go and watch those games, yeah? It clocks to about 12 p.m., there's a volleyball match taking place, you know. I will go and watch Inatek vs Rayon Sport. They were playing their final volleyball game.
Yes.
After that, I will switch to the basketball game.
Yes.
After that, I'll go to volleyball. You know, I can't do everything. And now maybe we don't have enough people to cover
Yes.
all sporting disciplines. But I'll try my level best to be at all these sporting disciplines. And I will try to inform the public about them. my colleagues doing that? I don't think so.
So you feel they're
You
not
don't
doing
think so,
enough?
but you are not sure. Because if you are saying, I'm going in cricket, after I'm going to watch the second half of football, know that maybe for Ariane, I'm going also to watch for a women football. No one is coming there.
Yes.
I didn't.
Yeah,
even
so
met with
this is not me and
listen to
Ari.
me. For even for women football, volleyball, or any other discipline, they let women only to go and watch and report for women. If I'm going in women match,
Yes.
know that also after watching that match, I will go also for men. But no man can go and watch.
So very few men
yes.
do that.
Yeah,
And
but
what do
is
you
this-
want? What do you want? Moving on from here as we leave
Is
this
it-
studio today,
no,
just
but
a
is
bit,
it-
You
what
know-
do we do from here?
Yes, I think we have what we can do. I think we have to reduce much criticism about everything. Cause me, I don't know if the problem is not reporting.
Yes.
But reporting maybe not in a good way.
Yes.
Because if a national team is going somewhere, I'll give you an example. Last time we were in Cairo, in Africa Cup of Nations. It was a big competition and a big event.
Yes.
For someone who is in Rwanda, he really wants to know how about the
Their
news
team.
of the
Yes.
the national team. But if someone is here in Rwanda, I know that for Rwanda, for the first match, it was not good. He's going to start by saying, what are we sending them? They are not going for not
Criticizing,
yes,
yes.
criticizing.
So you don't want people to be criticizing?
Yes.
Let me read a few tweets and then we come back to the director. Devin Ngusi here on Twitter is actually saying that the law is simple. When you do not appear, you disappear. There seems to be a communication gap between the two. Need for more quest. I think he's talking about the issue of communication between either the federations and, of course, the journalists in terms of relaying information. John comes back and says, the major recipe, in my opinion, being Ferwafa's general dysfunctionality. That Ferwafa is actually...
specific?
This is John who says that the recipe, the main problem is Ferwafa's dysfunctionality. And also we have Murenzi here who's saying, talk about TT2 federation started, to 95, no regional tournament, no national tournament. Game is in limbo, no representative at all African games. And we have here Wana who says, in Rwanda we need more trained sports journalists. Looking at all this, especially Ferwafa's comment over there, that comment on Ferwafa, what is your thought on that? That this could be the recipe of the problems we're seeing today?
The dysfunctionality of Ferwafa, I don't know. I don't have evidence. It's a body, a sporting body,
Yes.
which has separate management. When there is audit and the investigation, that can show that. But for me, I can't accuse Ferwafa of being not well functioning from here because I don't have any evidence. It is reported they don't work well, they don't provide any information. But for me, I can't, based on
Would your
that.
office take the next step then? If people are reporting this, if people are saying this, would you just sit and say, I don't have evidence, I can't do anything? What steps can your office take?
I mentioned that earlier when we
to
were
do
starting,
your own independent investigation.
when you were starting, investigations are done. And we have no evidence.
Up to now, even from your own investigation?
Yes. And the quality of reporting, I mentioned it when I started. Sometimes there is a speculative reporting, even from the ministry. We provide information, they comment, they give other comments, not related to what we provided as information. Sometimes there is a deliberate speculative reporting from some of them, not all of them, because we appreciate what media, what journalists do as big partners or big partners of the sport area.
As of now, because of time, you feel these are just speculations, these are just rumors.
Yeah, unless I have Evidence.
Proper evidence.
Yes.
Unless you have evidence. Arnold, as we leave this place today, what are the quick take-homes or quick advice or quick thoughts that you want us to go with?
On one, there's a point Mr. Bujingo mentioned earlier at the beginning of the show, which was all sports disciplines are treated equally. I still disagree. I think we'll need another whole show for that because I'll just straightforward examples. The FIFA Zone 5 Championships is taking place in Rwanda. It's an international event. Has it been given as much attention as any event? The Ministry of Sports and Culture, that is funding this event, has given them a budget of only 25 million Rwandan francs. Is a similar budget given to football when they need it? When the Football Authority, Football Federation.
That figure,
yes.
I don't agree with
I have evidence. And then
no, don't lie. Don't lie.
I do, Mr. Bujingo, have evidence.
So you have the evidence?
Yes.
What is the evidence?
I wouldn't say this without evidence. This is an email from the Secretary General of the Basketball Federation.
Well, he was complaining.
This is through, I asked him about the sponsorship that they have, and they have 25 million Rwandan francs. But when you look at other sporting disciplines,
I don't agree with you.
Yes, sir.
Because I know if from here you can check, they have received more than 40 million. From here, I'm here. You can check. So sometimes you need to be careful when you make some statements.
No. I have an email.
As you said,
I have an email.
Another particular debate.
Yes.
Another forum for that
of the
issue.
equality of all sports.
Yes, Ariane, as
Anangwe,
we go,
I
we have
think
1 minute to go.
Yes, I know. Thank you for supporting Arnold. I think also we have to know, maybe it will be another time for debating about it.
Yes.
If really people who are in sports area are passionate
True.
and really like sports.
True.
Cause, for example, what he's saying, if you are sending like more than 5 teams in a big event like All African Games,
yes,
without someone who is going to report or for others, the Imvahoncha sent Bujingo Fidel for their parts, but he was working for newspaper. It was a big task for him to report for his newspaper, at the same time to send voices, pictures, videos for others.
And so you want what?
Yes, I just want people who are in sports area
To be passionate
to be passionate
about the game.
Yes, about yes, many disciplines,
Super.
but in sports.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you
you.
so much, Arnold Cheng. Thank you, Mr. Bujingo, and of course, Ariane, for your thoughts right here on the program. We definitely appreciate your perspective and arguments on the show. And of course, we hope that something will be done on some of the issues. You'll have a sit down and verify that information and let us know if it was true or not true.
Yeah.
And for you, for tweeting, and of course, for Facebooking, I have definitely been receiving some of your tweets right here and some of your Facebook messages. Thank you so much. There's one here that was actually saying, but this should be analyzed in a broad way because it's an issue of concern in our media sector. That means the topic about sporting issues. Someone here says that even other sectors in media. And of course, for that reason, on Wednesday, we're looking at the newsroom matters and of course, ethics in media, with focus on the Transparency International report on corruption in media. That particular debate is a must-watch this Wednesday, 9 p.m. live right here. And of course, we'll see you again next time. My name, as always, is Eugene Anangwe. Goodbye for now.
This is an EA production.